When we believe stories that we or others tell as the truth of our life, we often can create difficulties and suffering that need not be there. There's the potential for creating harming of all sorts. Sitting is straightforward. It's being upright, being a still, stable, settled posture, neither thinking nor not thinking. And Master Yaoshan and Master Dogen have called this non-thinking. Non-thinking. And in the midst of non-thinking, thinking arises, and our practice is allowing it to arise, allowing it to pass. No need to attend to it or keep track of it, much less to add and build on it. And yet, we often find ourselves adding to it, adding to thinking, to emotion, thought, keeping track, building on thoughts, feelings, doing what the Buddha calls their inning or their buying, their inning, their buying to hearing, to seeing, to experiencing, to cognizing, as opposed to allowing it to arise and letting it go. If we need help with that, one practice is to note this arising, their inning, their buying, their foring, to this experiencing, to even this cognizing and this emoting. And the noting is not to keep track of it, but to allow it to arise, pass in this experiencing that is our life. In informal zazen, in this upright sitting, in throughout our life, in just this moment that we are. During zazening, in ongoing practice, whether in formal sitting or in daily life, we may discover stories of all sorts. Stories we tell ourselves about others and we tell about ourselves. Stories about those so-called close and about those whom we barely know. Stories about today or about many, many years ago or about some future. We even have stories that we might tell ourselves about people that we don't know, people in the media, in the public eye, people in history. And even on that, we might notice building of therefores, therebys onto these stories. And unfortunately, all sorts of reactive habits, which sometimes result in suffering and harming. So, as appropriate and as skillfully that we can do it, notice the stories when they arise, when they're going on. Notice when we cling to them. And notice when we're elaborating on these stories, making something which we then use or are used by to justify anger at others, at ourselves, justify liking or disliking and holding on to those, making trouble. How can we practice skillfully in our life? Obviously, one step is to notice when we are believing and holding to beliefs. How to practice skillfully throughout our life and how to practice skillfully in zazening, sitting. That's our effort and opportunity, because it's so valuable to notice how and where and when we create troubles, and notice the harming and suffering that these stories are connected to. So we each have to use that. We must use that, I say, to practice as this moment of our life, as this experience, as this zazening moment. And of course, there's many practices, many koan that clarify this, clarify what, how, where effort is needed with the therein, therebys, therefores. We can say, or I can say, being this moment is like the sky. The sky includes all sorts of clouds passing, all sorts, and the sky that we are need not be troubled or distorted by these myriad clouds, myriad conditions. We're not less or more sky because of the particular clouds and conditions of the sky. And each moment of the varied conditions is our sky of this moment. Despite our troubles with some, and despite our so-called smooth sailing with others, we might want clear sky, or as in traditional terms, we might cherish a bright moon. But as Dogen reminded us, don't miss the hazy moon, much less reject or fight the stormy, dark sky, dark clouds. We can all hope for various clouds, particular clouds and shapes and colors and light and dark. But if we become blinded by our hopes and miss this clouded sky right now as is, then we make trouble. So in a way, our task and practice is to appreciate the sky right now, the clouds as they are right now. Experiencing this is inhabiting this moment that we are, this body-mind universe, this inside world, this outside world, and all the beings, all the clouds in our sky as they are. And then if there's something skillful to do in the Midwest, if it's a tornado, then it's time to get into the basement or somewhere else. If you're walking and the sky, thunder and lightning starts and rain's falling, open your umbrella. Get under an appropriate place, or just get wet. If we hold on to our stories about clouds, if I can call it solidity, thinking, feeling about people and events, then we often add our likes and dislikes, agreement and disagreements, and create harming and suffering for ourselves, for others. So I'll remind us of the opening phrase, the perfect way is not difficult. Just avoid picking and choosing. Avoid sticking and holding to our likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes arise, and yet we have the opportunity to practice with them so that we don't stick and become sticky in our life as a result of them. Then, because we are the harmony of the Dharma, of the universe, there's no place where the Dharma is not. Everywhere it is our very life, right in front of our eyes. Thank you.